And if you're...
That's a potential firing. All right, welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. This is Brandon here, taking another look at Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. It is Tuesday, so you know that's what we're going to do. This episode is called Social Studies. Social Studies is a part of every school. I have no idea what angle the show is going to take on it. I was thinking as I was loading the episode up, isn't Mr. Wright, or wasn't Mr. Wright their social studies teacher, and now he's supposed to be the principal of Polk Middle School? I'm not sure where the episode is going to take us. I see in this random shot here, Mo's kind of looking at Ned. I don't know what we're in for, but we'll find out here together. If you're not a subscriber to my channel and you tune in every Tuesday for my reaction to Ned's Declassified, I do encourage you to subscribe. We have a lot more Neds to go. I think a viewer told me that it would be the end of 2025 until I'm completely, totally done with the series, and then we'll do something else. But if you like tuning in, do me a favor and click the button below to subscribe to my channel and turn your notifications on so that you don't miss any of my future content. Let's get into the episode.
Okay, class, who can tell me why Washington crossed the Delaware? Nobody, because I have no idea myself.
Social studies.
Hopefully she's kidding. If she's not kidding, like, that's a problem. You don't go through content that you yourself don't know. And these kids are getting older. I see, like, the extras do not look young enough to be in middle school, but on the other hand, sometimes toward the end of the year when students are in 8th grade, they do kind of look like high schoolers. I mean, they almost are high schoolers at this point, but I have seen teachers also ask a question and simply pretend that they don't know when they actually do. I'm going to assume or hope that that's the case here.
It's the talkiest of the 4 main subjects, because there's so much to talk about.
Okay.
Geography, government, history, and lots of projects. Social studies will have the most notes, so have extra everything.
Pizza. Or whatever that was there. It looked like pizza to me. I don't know if there's more to discuss, but I think that social studies is a subject where it's just easier to have discussions about it because it's much more practical and true to life. It is life, in fact. It's just history. How did we get where we are, or whether it's world history or U.S. history here in the United States. Students take U.S. history courses. I'm not sure which social studies area he's talking about here, but all of those things that he listed certainly are part of it. And projects, it depends on the teacher. It's not just social studies has more projects or whatever, but it does, I think, lead more naturally to having discussions about whatever the topic is.
And ask about recording the lectures, so if you miss something, you can just go back and check.
Yeah, and it said something about tape to back up. It really shows the show's age. You know, he pulls out this little tape recorder, which you just wouldn't have now. You would use your phone or I guess some other recording device, but more typically a phone if the teacher or school is going to allow that. A lot of times they don't, or the teacher will record it themselves and put it somewhere on Google Classroom. If there's some sort of lecture associated with it or notes that the students need, they'll put it on Google Classroom or some other place that can store that information digitally.
Oh, dear.
And if you're...
That's a potential firing for this teacher. I think I remember this actress in one other episode, maybe, but they are not a regular staff member that I'm familiar with. I guess she was maybe Mr. Wright's replacement, which is really bad. She's not doing a good job. Maybe she's a sub. Maybe she's a substitute teacher, but you would never see that. Sub or not, they would be fired right there.
social studies teachers like Mrs. Knapp find a creative way to keep the class
Knapp.
moving.
Double up.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that wouldn't happen if the teacher fell asleep. A lot of students would try to take advantage of that, like, hey, let's not wake them up and let's just waste the rest of the class time. Or someone would get up and go tell the principal or another administrator, hey, this teacher's asleep.
And do a social studies project on American history. Ooh.
Really? All of American history, like no other parameters? This sort of reminds me of video projects where Mr. Wright just said, do a video project. And he didn't give any parameters or any guidance. You don't do that. Think about it. In order to grade this project, you're going to have to tell students what is the criteria for getting an A or passing, what kind of rubric are we going to have, what makes a project a good project. In other words, what does the teacher want to see, and how is that aligned to the standards for the course? All of that is going to be given to the students, not just do a project about American history. Like, really? All of American history? You don't even care what I talk about? That's a little ridiculous.
The best one would get an all-expense paid trip to the state capitol for a student expo.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. I have seen things like that before. There are all sorts of student expos and trips like that that have to do with the state government or are sponsored by the state government in this area. That's actually pretty true to life. What isn't true to life is, again, you'll need to tell students what you're looking for. She just says, oh, the best one gets to go to this expo, especially if there's any sort of high stakes prize here or something students are going to want. You got to tell them, like, what does the best even mean? Like, what are you looking for?
I'll pick the winner on Friday. Have a flyer! A flyer! Ooh.
That's a potential firing. If Miss Knapp is really her name, that's pretty bad on its own, but you can't throw paper at students like this. That's a potential firing. And remember, potential firings are situations in which a teacher could be fired. Whether they actually would in real life or not depends on the school, and it depends on the administration. Social studies.
This trip actually sounds like fun.
Duh! It's more than just a contest. It's a romantic social studies getaway weekend.
It's a weird way of putting
Romantic? Yeah, it is a weird way of putting it. I've never heard it described that way, a romantic social studies getaway weekend. I guess he's thinking of someone. I guess he's about to tell us that is a pretty cool trip, and most students would want to do that. A lot of students, especially in middle and high school, really anything that gets them out of the building for a period of time, they're going to look forward to.
Imagine if Lisa and I won.
Lisa. That face.
I'm so glad we won the contest, Simon. And you're so gorgeous.
You could tell this is in his imagination, and often wonder, like, in these imagination scenes where the actors and actresses really do have to say these lines, it's like, how can you do it without laughing or something? It's pretty funny. And no, this is not how the trip to the state convention or expo, whatever it is, would be. There's none of this kind of stuff in there, although it is a lot of fun and usually pretty beneficial for students that go.
Stop. You're embarrassing me.
What?
I've got to pair up with Lisa before one of those vultures does.
If only Susie was in our class. Then I could be her partner. We could go on that trip together.
Yeah, you notice, like, none of them are talking about the value of the actual trip. They're just like, how can we use this as an opportunity to talk to a specific person that we like? That's not the best attitude.
But she's not, so what are we gonna do our project on?
Up, gotta go. Meeting Susie by the water fountain to get a drink
The water
of
fountain.
water.
That was the still frame when she looks at him like that. And of course, Mose is taking it seriously and probably does want to go because of the value that this trip offers. What?
Ned, no running in the hall.
Sorry, and shouldn't all of this be in your principal's
Yeah.
office?
Yes, but Pal sort of thinks he's still principal. But
Yeah, what is that about? Like, I don't get that. Principal Powell was supposed to retire, like, the day after the principal's episode. That's kind of what I've been saying for the last few episodes. I'm a little confused about that.
when he sees me officeless, then he'll realize that he should retire.
Yeah, will he realize that? I'm not sure. By the way, I have seen a principal, or I think it was an assistant principal at a school, set up in the hall like this, although it wasn't because someone else was in his office. It was because the school had such a hard time keeping students in class. They would literally just leave, just walk out, that they had to be in the hall literally just all day, like staring at the hall as they did their other work so that they could keep them from doing that.
And give me the keys to that office, which should have been mine by now. I'm off.
Okay. This would never in a million years be allowed to happen. Even if Pal didn't behave like this, he retired, right? You can't retire and then come back just because you want to. Now, a lot of people that retire do come back and work for the school district in other capacities part-time because it's probably different in every state, but here in Georgia, you're allowed to work a certain number of hours for a school district after you're retired. Now, there are strict limits on that because you're also collecting your retirement benefit at the same time, and so you have to follow the rules on that, but you are able to work, but he wouldn't just be able to stay principal, and I don't know how the superintendent is allowing this. Remember the superintendent from the principal's episode? He would not just allow him to stay in the office. Even if Pal did not voluntarily leave, he would be kicked out. I mean, that's the reality. And he said he was retiring the next day, which I still don't understand. We'll say that somehow Pal is still here. This would be a potential firing for him for sure.
To the bathroom!
Okay. And staff members generally don't use the same restrooms as students do. It just creates for some potentially weird situations and awkwardness. So every school that I've ever been to has a staff bathroom that is separate. Typically, students are not allowed to use it.
My plan needs a little adjusting.
Miss Snap.
Lisa, we should team up and win that social studies trip.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Cook, Quag, you're my smartest students. Team up.
Of course, of course. So the teacher, Miss Knapp, I guess her name was, gets Cookie and Evelyn to team up or to partner up in this project, which they were kind of hostile to one another, but then at the end of the dismissal episode, they had their little incident there, and so I'm not sure what kind of terms they're on right now.
An amazing project and bring us home the gold.
What? No, that's a bad idea.
Okay.
I'm a teacher, and what I say goes.
Okay.
What's with the cookie face?
I think it...
Yeah, that is the cookie face. And yeah, I wasn't sure. Evelyn said right there that she despises him, which is a little different than what she said at the end of the dismissal episode. But as a teacher, you wouldn't do this. If you knew that two students did not get along with each other, you wouldn't just pair them up anyway. That's not good practice.
Duck.
Oh, okay. Relax. Relax. Okay, there we go. Oh.
What?
Evelyn and I are gonna win the social studies trip, which means I'll have to spend the whole weekend with her. Can you imagine? Stop it! You're embarrassed.
And this is another one where, even though this is in Cookie's imagination, the actress who plays Evelyn really did have to do this, and he had to just get hit by all this food. That's pretty funny.
You're stuck again. At least you have a social studies partner.
I thought you teamed up with Ned.
I did, but look. It's like I don't exist anymore.
Are you jealous?
I'm not jealous.
Okay. But if you win the contest, it'll be Mose and Ned together all weekend long. And not me and Evelyn.
Right. We'll just make a totally awesome project and then hang out all weekend like old
Okay. So now they have a common interest. It kind of reminds me of the school plays where Ned and Cookie teamed up just because they had a common interest. So in this case, if Mose wins, she gets to go on the trip with Ned, which I'm not really clear why she wants that so badly other than, you know, they're just friends. But in Cookie's case, he doesn't care if Mose goes. He just doesn't want to have to go with Evelyn. And so he is going to help her with her project.
And I'll simply delay my project with Evelyn so we don't get it done by Friday. It's the perfect plan.
It's an interactive history of Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
You'll put your head where Jefferson's is and then answer questions about the monument.
It's awesome.
And since I got a jump on it, we can use a free period to catch up on things.
Absolutely. So, how are things?
Things are good.
Great.
It's like they have absolutely nothing to talk about. I don't know where this is going here.
No, I'm off to meet Susie for another water break.
Actually, now that I think about it, we're way behind. See that right there? That needs fixing. I decided decided that we're going to do the history of the modern city and how the development of municipal infrastructure made it possible.
You've done a lot.
Okay.
So, let me help.
Oh. Yeah, that's right, because he has to make sure they don't win, and she already did much of it, and now he's destroyed it. I'm getting a little nervous here. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Isn't this like the third or fourth time that she has just chased him around, and now he's running into the bathroom yet again? Last time he had to disguise himself as Book Bag Boy. I'm not sure what's going to happen this time.
Simon, no running in the...
Now that I have never seen a desk inside of a bathroom like that. Have I seen it in the hallway? Yes, I have. It's a little unusual. It's actually a lot unusual. This I've never seen. This would be really weird and unacceptable.
You know, you could just tell Pally's not principal anymore.
I don't want to hurt his feelings. He gave me my first teaching job, and he's taught me a lot.
Okay, so Pal gave him his first teaching job. Yeah, I could see that. But again, the superintendent would never allow this. And just the superintendent's character from the principal's episode, check out my reaction if you never saw that one. That one was a good one. But it didn't seem like he would be the type to allow Principal Pal to just remain in his office and nobody is going to make him leave. He said he was retiring. I think he has retired. That was probably a good decision because of how weird he acts. But they wouldn't just allow him to remain there. Yeah, that's a potential firing for him. Even though technically he isn't the principal, he's just remaining there and no one's doing anything about it. But that would be a second potential firing here for sure.
This will work. It's the perfect plan.
It's not. Susie's back there. What? So weird. And all Evelyn would have to do in real life, of course, is to tell Miss Snap or Mr. Wright, and they would deal with that because that's pretty blatant. Cookie deliberately destroying their project. He could get in some real trouble for that. I'm not sure really why within the context of this plot that Mose doesn't want Ned to talk to Susie because they sort of done their project unless she needs to get him to work on like answering the questions about Mount Rushmore, or I think that's what they said they were going to do. I'm not sure why she cares whether or not Ned talks to Susie if it's not impacting the project. I'm not sure. Oof.
That's it! I quit! I'd rather get an F than work with you, Cook!
Yo, check out our project. It's
the history of the frontier, where we prove female domesticity settled the West.
Okay, so I'm guessing he's going to change his strategy here because maybe he's afraid that Lisa's going to win and he doesn't want anybody else to go with her on this little trip. I'm not sure. I think all of them are kind of blowing this out of proportion, though.
If we win the social studies thing, Lisa and I will go to the state capitol together. Can you imagine?
Yes, he can. I bet he's going to.
I'm so glad we won the contest, Seth. And you're way more gorgeous than Simon.
What?
I could not let them win this contest, which means I have to win it, which means I have to win back Evelyn.
Yeah, so this is really crazy and is not very true to life. But now, I guess, in order to, I don't know what's worse for him, going with Evelyn or not going, and then Lisa goes. Unless, of course, Mose and Ned win. I guess he could just help them with theirs or sabotage Seth's and Lisa's. I guess he's demonstrated a willingness to do that, although I don't advocate that at all, of course. But let's see what he does.
Mrs. Knapp is picking the winter 7th period. I think we have a shot at that trip together.
I think my face is stuck.
We'll celebrate tonight.
Can't. Going to Susie's tonight for dinner.
What? It's movie video game pizza night. We've been hanging out every Friday night since we were in the playpen.
I know.
And they've never mentioned that this entire series, so I find that a little bit questionable.
I'm gonna meet Susie's mom. Now quick, Help me out of here. I gotta meet Susie for another water
So
break.
ridiculous.
You're thirsty? Here.
Oh,
Their problem.
I just don't want you to be thirsty anymore, okay?
so weird. That's not good.
Evelyn, I'm sorry I ruined our project. It's just that I'm so unsure of my feelings for you.
Really?
Yes. You make me do crazy things.
So is he faking or not? I can't really tell. So is he being real here, or is he faking just to get the project done, just so Lisa won't win? And what is Evelyn thinking during all this? This is getting really complicated here, but let's see what happens.
Now tell me what's really going on.
She saw
I
through
didn't
it.
want to win with you because I think you might be crazy. But I think I might have a crush on Lisa, so I have to stop her from going with Seth.
You're pathetic, Huck, but you are smart. And I could always use another academic trophy.
It's a high five. You're supposed to slap me back.
Slap him in the face. That's pretty bad.
Perhaps there's a bigger problem here than being stuck.
Mr.
Great.
Quest.
And I thought Mose was nuts.
She's not nuts, she's hurt.
That's Gordy, right?
She's hurt. I'm the one stuck in this thing. She abandoned me.
Are you sure you haven't abandoned her? She's your best
Quest.
friend, and now it's like she doesn't exist.
Not sure who that is.
Maybe you guys are right.
I like Mose better than Susie.
Gordy.
Go to her, Ned.
So
Ask her
weird.
what's wrong.
So
But I'm
weird.
stuck. You guys are smart. How can I get out of this thing?
I have no idea.
No clue whatsoever.
He took the whole thing.
I'm sorry for blowing you off. Going out with Susie doesn't mean I can't hang with you.
I guess I just felt a little left out.
Well, you could have just told me that instead of locking me in here.
I'll get you out, so you won't miss your date with Susie's mom.
Yes, I will. Because tonight, it's just me and you and movie video game pizza night.
Okay, all right, that's sweet. That's a weird face there. I have not heard about the pizza video game night, but hey, he's loyal to his friend.
Now get me out of here.
This might hurt a little bit.
Oh no. Okay, and now they have to not only hang out, but redo the project together. I see where this is going. Oh no. What? What else? What else is going to happen here? Oh my goodness. It's Coach Durga. It's Coach Durga. I have not seen her in a long time, and I'm not sure. I don't know if like the show is too short to feature all the teachers, or do they like only pay a few of them? A viewer brought up recently Mr. Monroe. I forgot about Mr. Monroe. He was one of the better characters. I guess he's not part of the cast anymore, though.
Hey! You trashed my gym!
They did. Run. That's a suspension possibly for both of them. You doing this was sort of an accident, although they should help clean it up. But running from Coach Durga, not a good idea. She can probably catch them anyway from the looks of it.
Acting like you did something bad. That's great.
At least he's dressed normal.
Mr. Wright, I've noticed something all day and feel I should say something.
Okay.
You have something in your teeth. Bye, boys.
What in the world?
Wait!
Here
You're
we
not
go.
the principal anymore. I'm the principal now. It hurts me to say this, but you gotta leave your office.
Finally. But I must say you took a lot longer than I hoped.
Oh, is this some sort of test? He's going to tell him that he was staying on purpose to test him in some way, I'm guessing. Let's see.
Say what?
Alistair, as principal, you're going to have to say some tough things and hurt some feelings. But that's the job.
You know, I won't say that's the job, but you do get in some rather difficult conversations. That is true. And sometimes when holding people accountable, you do hurt some feelings unintentionally, but you just make it clear to people that you're acting in your best interest, and you sometimes do have to deliver bad news. That is true. It's not your job to hurt people's feelings. I mean, you don't just go around doing that intentionally. If you do what's right and you do hold people accountable, which that is part of it. People won't be happy with you all the time. That is part of it. So it's sort of a half-truth. I don't agree with how he's expressing this, but there is some truth in there.
And now, you're ready.
Okay.
Yes! I'm the principal.
That's what I have to do. I'm gonna tell Susie Friday is our night. May sting, but it's what I have to do.
Yeah, I'm wondering how she's going to respond.
So she took it well.
Oh, yeah. All
Goodness.
right. Let's see who's going on that social studies trip.
Okay.
Mrs. Knapp, it hurts me to say this, but it's time for you to retire.
Okay, see, there you go. I was going to sort of count all of that as the same potential firing, but he says it's time for you to retire, which you can't force people to retire, but what you can do is not offer them a new contract for the next year. Something like this would be grounds for termination, though, because it's not just that you're sleeping on the job, like I mentioned with Gordy a lot of times, but she's supposed to be supervising and instructing these students, and anything could happen while she's asleep, including people getting hurt. I see these fake cobwebs all over the place too. This looks pretty bad. But yeah, Mr. Wright is right for addressing this.
Thank heavens, I'm out of here.
What in the world?
Wait a minute, I don't have a replacement teacher yet.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Okay.
And the winning team for the trip to the capital.
And by the way, I have heard of this. This has happened before for an administrator to retire and then come back part-time and do some teaching. Some places will allow you to teach full-time if it's in a high-needs area. So I have heard of this before. It's somewhat uncommon, but yeah, if in their state, I forgot what state they're in. It's either California or Washington. I forget which. I think one is iCarly and one is Ned's. But he can do this depending on what the rules are there. Retire from being a principal, but come back and be a teacher.
Is Evelyn and Simon.
Okay. This is like the third version of their project, I guess.
That means Lisa's not going with Seth.
But you do realize that means you're going with Evelyn.
Yes. There's that face again.
He's stuck again.
That face. Okay. All right, well, that's the episode. That was a pretty good one. It wasn't just antics. I didn't enjoy the couple of Halloween episodes as much because there really was no story. This one there was, and a lot more of it was true to life this time, focusing on the social studies class, although there was a lot of zaniness as well. There is a state expo. I don't know what sort of state expo there is, but there are plenty of events in real life that are sort of similar to that. I don't know what the focus was on this fictitious version, but students do go attend those, and I've never seen it where like the winner of a contest gets to go, but I guess theoretically you could do that. And interestingly, in the end, Evelyn and Cookie won the contest, which is something of a twist. But I enjoyed this one. Hopefully you all enjoyed watching it with me. I can't wait to see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, if you tune into these Neds every Tuesday. I'll see you on the next video right here on School Principal Reacts. Thanks for watching.